Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here and welcome back to SpinTires MudRunner for a delivery mission. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be using actually a pretty old mod to tow these Can Am Mavericks, but this, if you don't know, is Brute's RAM, and the reason why I'm using it is because it has still one of the best goosenecks. And a lot of people haven't really been making trucks with goosenecks lately, and this one is probably still the most reliable. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be attempting to load as many of these Can-Ams onto the back of that gooseneck as we possibly can. I didn't want to use a semi-truck for this. I wanted to use like an actual pickup truck for this. So that's why I brought this thing out. And let's see. Flatbed trailer. Get that hooked up, and as you can see, it's not a huge trailer, but it's big enough in a lot of ways. Now, do I think we're going to be able to get everything on it at once? No, definitely not. But what we can do is we can pull it up here, we can lower the ramps, and then we can start loading the Mavericks onto the back of the trailer. Now, the angle that at which you approach the trailer is pretty freaking it's pretty hardcore. I mean, at least in terms of trailer approach angles. Now, in normal terms, would I say it's like an insane approach angle anyway? No, not really, and it doesn't really look that bad from here. I think for anything that wasn't, like a side-by-side or a lifted Jeep, it would be a pretty harsh approach angle, but for something like this, it's not really that big of a deal. Come on. God. Well, I guess we're going to have to, slam it into the back right there. I guess that's it. I was like, are you going to move? Maybe? Maybe not? All right. Well, I guess we'll just leave you there. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop that one. And we'll probably go ahead and load the... Well, we'll load the blue one now. Because the blue one's the farthest up front, so we might as well go ahead and load it. Whoa. That was weird. The game acted like it was going to crash out for a second. I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, you know what? Just to have it, I'm going to go ahead and put that little Jack Daniels cooler on the back of at least one of these things. Doesn't have to be on all of them, but at least throw it on one of them. So we'll go ahead and get that thrown on there. And try to line it up before we get on the trailer as best we can. And it looks like... Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a two-rig ordeal. So... we're going to go ahead and, I think, probably call it there with that load. If we do come back to get the other two, I mean, we'll be able to load them up at the same time. But now we have to figure out, well, first of all, we have to get the ramps back up. But we also have to figure out where we're headed because, you know what, though? Before we even do that, hang on. That looks amazing. That looks amazing. I mean, that is the ultimate weekend rig right there. I mean, it really is. That is the ultimate way to set up for a weekend right there. At least, I don't know. In my mind, it is anyway. I mean, if you've got a better way to set up for a weekend, let me know in the comments section below. But holy crap, that looks like a absolutely insanely fun weekend to me. So, with all of that being said, we are here on Mount Longmore, and we've got a lumber mill up here, and we have a log station out here. We have some houses, I believe, back over here towards town. And I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'll probably drop one of these off in town, and then the other one, well... I'll either drop one of them off in town and take the other one to the lumber mill, or I'll take both to the lumber mill. And I'm starting to, the more I think about it, the more realistic it seems to take both to the lumber mill. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right. So basically, what ended up happening is the lumber mill needed more scout vehicles. They ordered a couple of these Can Am Mavericks, and we have been tasked with delivering them. So we're going to go ahead and get these things out there. And by the way, this truck actually has a legit animated interior, which is so freaking cool. I mean, apart from the gauges, obviously, but It's got the shifter in the right place. It's got a real 4th gen Ram steering wheel. It's got a real 4th gen Ram dash. There are very few vehicles that come this close to being to having fully everything rendered. I mean, it's got a fully rendered interior, for God's sakes. Like, most other mods don't have that. Most other modders don't do that. A lot of modders don't do that at all anymore. I mean, Spun and Brute were kind of on a level of quality that you don't really see in a lot of mods. I mean, Frog's mods are really good. Don't get me wrong. Frog's mods are really good. Banks mods are really good. Let's see. Redneck's mods are really good. There's a lot of other modders that are doing a really good job. Terminator's doing a really good job. But, like, there are some little details, like, you know, that fully done interior that you don't really see in a lot of mods nowadays. And I think it's just one of those cool little touches that Spun and Brute didn't always have, but when they did have it, oh my god, it was so cool. So continuing on down the trail here, I decided I wanted to use one of the American Wilds maps for this because I've always felt like the American Wilds maps were a good blend of, like, you know, they were a good blend of like simplicity with keeping things interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see. Residential quiet zone. So that means perfect for my straight piped Cummins. No worries there. We could have put a hood stack on it, but I was like, not really feeling that. Let's see. Do we need to get our truck repaired? Probably not. Is that just another, yeah, residential quiet zone? Man, that's a good-looking rig setup, though. It really just, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It really is a dream weekend setup. Okay, are we going to go... No, we're going to stay on the main road. In fact, wait a second. We could go down that way, but no, you know what? We're going to stay on the main road. We're going to stay on the main road because we have two. Now, this time, these two are a lumber mill drop-off. I mean, the other two are residential drop-off because those have been ordered by people in different houses, and we need to drop those off so they can have an easier way to get down to work, down to the lumber mill. Oh, are you going to bog out on me? Yep. Oh, man. This thing just doesn't have a very intelligent transmission tune. Like, if it at all loses power in 5th, it won't be like, oh, I should use 3rd or maybe 4th. No, I need to slow all the way back down and go all the way back to 1st gear. That's why you're better off keeping it either in high or maybe low 3 when you're driving it around, especially when you're going up hills. You try to drive this thing in automatic going up hills, you're going to have a bad time, dude. You're going to have a really bad time. Trailer cam. I got to hand it to him. He really did a good job with keeping the trailers sticky, which means that you never really have to worry about stuff falling off. I never have to worry about these things falling off, and that's a massive, massive deal. The lights look cool, but you could definitely tell that they're dated. I mean, nowadays, you know, we see lights like the lights you guys saw on the freaking Suburban that I showed recently. That thing is crazy good in terms of lights. Now, if you're on flat ground, you can put it in automatic mode, and it'll scoot pretty good. Problem is, you can't really leave it there for very long. As soon as you have any sort of uphill incline, you can hear it start to bog and lose power. Be prepared for the unexpected, boys. All right, let's... Wow, really? Really? Are you kidding me? Yeah, high in this truck is the equivalent of 3rd, and technically, I mean, if we're being realistic, this is a pretty good pace. A pretty good pace to be hauling this trailer at. I mean, it's safe. It's not really, like... Not really over the top. We don't have to worry about throwing those throwing those Mavericks off the back. So realistically, I feel like this is probably the best gear to be in. And again, we know we don't really have to worry about, you know, throwing things off the trailer. Pretty sure we're heading the right way. We'll know when we hit the bridge. It's weird because I always go to Grizzly Creek and not Mount Longmore. Truck entrance. Yeah, that's one of our side entrances or our cut-throughs that the log trucks will use sometimes. Yeah, there's the bridge. Yeet. Oh my god, dude. It's just so cool. Like, honestly, it doesn't get much cooler. It doesn't get much cooler than this right here. I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere with your adventure rig. I mean, you're just literally, you're heading out for the weekend, getting ready to just have a good time with your buddies, you know, and your side-by-sides. I can't think of a more fun way to, like, you know, spend a proper weekend. What a rig, man. What a absolute beast of a rig. God, I love it. I mean, there's basically nothing that I would change if this was my, like, if this was my real setup. There's basically nothing I would change about it. I can't think of anything I would change. Post in the comment section down below if there's something you would change about this rig, because, like, this whole rig setup in its entirety, because there's nothing that I would change about it. Absolutely nothing that I would change. Watch, see, it goes from 6th all the way down to 4th, or all the way down to 1st. Why not go from 6th to 4th, or like 6th to 3rd? I feel like it's just, it's kind of pointless at the end of the day. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Why? Why would you do that? I have no idea why you would do it. All right, we're dropping in on the lumber mill out here, and they are going to get their delivery of these Can Am Mavericks. I'm sure this truck will be able to drive a little bit faster once these things are off the back. I mean, they don't weigh a ton, but they weigh, they literally don't weigh a ton, but they don't weigh all that much, but they do weigh a little bit. So I'm sure we'll be able to feel a bit of a weight lifted off the back of the truck when we drop these off. And we're going to go ahead and back them in. Trying to do this pretty realistically. We'll get these guys backed in over here. This is where they wanted them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and unload these things right next to where the F-150 is. Get those ramps down. And we have, I believe, I know we have the blue. Yeah, we have the blue and we have the gold. So we'll go ahead and back you guys off. We can probably go ahead and park you out over here. And go ahead and stop your engine. These things are not that loud at all compared to the freaking Cummins. All right, we'll get you back to off the trailer. And parked up over here with the other one. So these things will get picked up by their respective owner, which I believe is the owner of the lumber mill. And we'll wait for him to come out and sign the papers. Oh, there he is. We'll get those papers signed. No big deal. So he confirms that he received them. All right, we're going to go ahead and hop back in the truck and bring those ramps up, and we'll get out of here. And boom. All right, that is done. So now we get to head back to the garage, pick up the other two, and drop them off at the houses of the people that ordered them. So I'm thinking, yeah, we could either drive all the way back or we could recover. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see what this truck drives like without the weight on the back, and then we'll decide whether or not we want to jump back or drive all the way back.